Are we on? We're on. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Over 100 in already. I always say that, but it's a good start to how the stream's going to go on, isn't it? So let's start saying hi to everybody. The Lonely Monger, word around Walker Street has it that the vampire girl is going to make an appearance today. Well, I think that's the fake Ed. I'll just give a quick shout out to fake Ed because he sends me a lot of stuff in. And sometimes it's a little bit too much to read. Some of it is actually complete books online, but I do appreciate the effort to send them in to me. And as always, I'll say a big hi to Noel, the blind man out there. Hopefully he's listening tonight. Okay, Ryan Seeger, how you doing? Super nice. Hi, Mike, how you doing? Right, good evening, Peter. Really looking forward to the stream and having a relaxing couple of hours if I can stay awake, that is. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult, Mike. No, I know what you mean. I think I've climatized back to the UK now because when I got here, I've been here almost a month now. And I've got some good news this week, which I'll share with you later on. But I really think I've climatized again, which means I'm going to have to get used to the heat again when I go back to Bangkok because I've been here a month now. And for the first kind of 2.5, 3 weeks, I was absolutely freezing, really cold. I was wearing a vest and a shirt and a jacket when I went out. And now I don't know if it's just very, very mild or it's me, but I don't feel cold at all. And in fact, I don't even have a heater on. So I think I've climatized to this cold weather again, and which isn't good as I'm going back out to Bangkok. Right, what are the currencies doing? The currencies are slightly down on the Thai baht this week. A few satang, most currencies anyway. I'll leave that up there for a little while. And I'll carry on saying hi to everybody. Peter Parker, I'm ready. 2 bottles of Stella open. Good man. I've got my Kronenberg all ready to go then. A little bit something else on that side. David Halpin, good evening, Peter. You will have to celebrate. Yeah, good point. I did write it down. I didn't forget. All the Irish out there, happy Valentine's Day. It's the 17th of March, which is, as you know, it's did I say Valentine's Day? St. Patrick's Day. Sorry about that. Yeah, so all the Irish watching there, happy St. Patrick's Day. And I didn't forget, there it is there, look, handwritten. And I'll do another mention on that a little bit later on, okay? Here we go. Real Rini rubbing salt into our wounds again. Good evening, Peter and everybody, from a very pleasant 25-degree evening in Copacabana. Okay, well, good to have you in, Rini, Rio. Martin Ryder, evening Mongers. Let me get rid of this now. We'll put that up again a bit later on. Kind of off-putting, isn't it? Right, no name. I'll say hi to Jason out there. Username Geezers. He's just come back from Thailand. I met him out there. We went for a few meals together. We made friends, actually. Sometimes that happens. I'll get a viewer wants to meet me, and we'll click, and we go out to eat, and we become friends. And that's what happened with Jason and myself. And yeah, so he's just got back after 6 weeks. He told me his girlfriend's got a visa to come here, so good luck to him with that. Hi to Damien. How you doing, Damien? I forgot all about you. Evening, Mr. Peter and stream. Have a good one tonight. I don't know if we got Franco out there because he's not answering phone calls this evening. I forgot you're at work today, Damien. You know me. I've got a memory like a sieve. Right, who else we got in here? Ken Dowden. Hello, Peter from the northwest. Oh, I'll put you up there. I said your name wrong. Hello from the northwest of England. Good evening. Bottle Baby studio tour soon. Yeah, absolutely. I've started it already. What I did, because there's this thing I've been saying for probably the last year. When I leave here, I'm going to film in here. I'm in a kind of a room away from my house. You'll be surprised where I am actually. And what I did, I actually filmed it last week. I walked in from the garden, filmed the building and where I am. And of course, all my equipment's here: cameras, speakers, CCTV, couple of monitors, desks, surrounded by desks. Not an ultra professional setup. It's just little old me with a few bits added. But what I intend to do is I'll strip it down and show it empty as well. So that's coming up sooner than you think. Like I say, good news. Right, thank you, Damon. Richard C. Wow, 165 watching, only 25 thumbs up. What is wrong with these guys? Oh, I won't say anything. Fat yes, evening, Peter. Thank you. Matthew, you should change the background, e.g. to W.H. Smith or Sainsbury's. Yeah, but I have got some UK backgrounds, but the thing is, we're trying to get into the spirit of Thailand, aren't we? We're gloomy over here, so it's like little community with the same kind of wishes to get back to Thailand. So it kind of creates a little bit of a that kind of feeling, as it were. You don't really want to see Sainsbury's or Tesco's in the background, do you? Rick E, afternoon from the Great White North. Yeah, how you doing, Rick? Richard O, good evening all. Wayne Ritchie, right. Hi, Peter. I was talking to this girl from Thai Friendly for a week. Now she told me she was a freelancer, but I'm sticking with the bar girls like you said. Okay, well, yeah, fair enough. I mean, if she's, you know, if you don't want to get attached or anything, why not? Why not? There is a lot of girls on Tinder and Badoo and Thai Friendly who are working. But you know, the problem is, like I've said to you before, people don't read the bio. They just look at the picture. Yes, no, 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 no. She looks cute. Yes, no, 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 no. Yes, she looks cute. And then they get surprised when a ladyboy turns up. Most of the people on Thai Friendly are actually honest about what they do. You know, ladyboys will say, "I'm a ladyboy, but I'm not. I'm looking for love," or "I'm a ladyboy and I'm looking to make a work." Or some of the freelancers say, "I'm a freelancer," understanding that every guy who reads that will know what she does and what she expects in return. So you need to read the bio. You know, when you pick one or two of them out and you think, "Yeah, I'm going to meet this one," read her bio. You know, translate it from Thai to English if you have to, because most of them, they don't lie. They tell you straight, "I'm a ladyboy," or "I'm a freelancer," or "I'm looking to get paid." You know, Deke, how you doing, mate? Evening, Peter. Happy Valentine's Day. Well, that's come and gone, hasn't it? St. Patrick's Day today, but I think you're joking when we were there. Nomi Inspector, how you doing? Good to have you in. I Patel, good evening. Michael DiCaprio, hi Pete. Swansea in the house, yeah, good to have you in. Same old names, same old faces. Friday night special. Redfield, Denmark, hi. Marvin, hello. I won't read all that out. It looks kind of, appreciate your comments. A little bit, okay, we'll leave it there. Graham Hawkins, good evening. Original F. Han Pink waving hand, okay. Matthew Alcorn, Betty says there's 100 baht towards your meal, Peter. Oh, yeah, maybe. Prior 9, evening everyone from a beautiful Koh Samui, Thailand, 5 a.m. here. Yeah, it's that time difference, isn't it? Well, the clocks in England will be going, is it back or forward? I think it's back. No, it's forward, isn't it? They go forward. 31st of March, I believe, so this month, and then there'll be a 6-hour time difference between here and Thailand, which is better for me doing the streams, actually. Right, blue, is it Blues Trekker? Greetings, Peter, and all the Mongers. Yeah. Who else we've got? Charles Sanders. Good evening, Peter and everyone. Celebrated St. Patrick's in Savannah, Georgia. Great time had by most there. Those working, not so much. Okay, good stuff. Mike again. Certainly never meant anything derogatory, Pete. Had a busy week. Getting everything done for a work trip week. Usually nodding around. Yeah, I know that, Mike. You don't have to say that. I know you're a cool bloke. There's nothing derogatory about you. Right, good evening, Peter, and everyone from the World Traveller Forever. George, how are you doing? Got a surprise for you tomorrow, George, if you know what I mean. Okay, Steve from Yours Travels, how are you doing? You're saying hi to Matthew, but I'm saying hi to you. Nick S, snake emoji on Tinder means ladyboy. Okay, that's good. I didn't know that. Jeff say, I sent a super chat, but it didn't go through, even though I had got an email address. Okay, Jeff, it's a thought that counts, isn't it? I know you've done it before, so don't worry about it. It's always a treat when somebody does a super chat, but it's like I always say to you, I'm not expecting it. It's just nice when you do get one. Right, OBI1 Thai Friendly automatically filters out lady boys. Okay, some of the other apps don't, because I know that I've seen descriptions, because I've looked at them with Simon. He's just shown me how they work. If I ever feel like I want to hook up with somebody, then that's where I'll look. Okay. Right, Dog. Hi, Peter. I'm glad you're back on Friday nights. Well, I've never left the Friday nights, but I think what you mean is at this time. But when I'm in Thailand, it's going to go back to them times, because I can't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do a stream, because 1, I don't wake up that early. 2, if I do wake up, I'll be drinking coffee and I won't have that mood. I mean, I've got my beers ready now, a little bit of something special there, all the competitions lined up. It won't be the same for me at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see how it goes. I'll tell you what's been going on this week. Let me just get through the rest of these hellos, and then I'll tell you I've had some pretty good news, some good plans coming up. I think you can guess what it is. Ken Christopherson, hi Peter, Q. Why do you have the cameras around your house? Do you feel unsafe? No, I don't feel unsafe, and I don't feel paranoid either. It's just a case of we live in a world now where there is crime, a lot of crime. I have a family here at the moment, and I just want to protect my property and my family. I don't think it's overly over the top to have cameras on your house. A lot of people do it now, and it records evidence. If anything ever happens, then I live in a nice quiet street. I've got a nice house. If somebody breaks in the night or something like that, I've got video evidence, haven't I? I would have thought that was self-explanatory. It's a strange question, actually, Ken. Right, Nomiai, they don't tell you they are ladyboys in the bars. They hope you're too pissed to recognize. I don't know, but I don't have experience with them. Yours Travels, the freelancers on Thai Friendly are normally up front. You can easily spot the genuine girls from the freelancers. Yeah. I met a guy the other day. Well, I didn't meet him. I was talking to him, and he said, "Oh, I don't talk to Thai girls if they don't speak decent English." And I said to him, I said, well, that's thank you, Jay. You made it your mission in the end. Jeff said, something with a beverage fund. No, I'll tell you what I'm going to spend that on next week, Jeff. Hold on, and I'll tell you in a while. Yeah, he said to me this. Thanks for the super chat, by the way, very generous. He said to my friend of mine, he said, I don't go. He said, when I go to Thailand, he said, I don't bother with girls if they don't speak English. Too much hassle on the dating apps and on the translation. It does my head in and all this. And I said, well, you're mad, really, because if you only speak to Thai girls who speak perfect English in the bars, how do you think they've learned to speak English? They're not college educated. I'm not being a snob about it, but that's how they learn. They've been with a lot of guys, and you meet a girl who speaks hardly any English out of that environment, there's a good chance you're well in there, as it were. Okay, let's carry on. Right, Dutch Farang, how are you doing? What are you saying there? Thanks for the info, Nick S. Yeah, okay. OBI WAN type. Okay, I read that. Let me just catch up to where I was with some of the older ones there. Right, Richard Woolley, we had our spring forward time change last week. I didn't know they did it in Florida. I thought it was just a UK thing. Scouse Andy 71, 26th of March, spring 1 hour plus. Okay, thank you for that. I'll just put that up there. There you go. Darcy, evening all. Professor Baxida, have you stayed in the Grand Centre Point, Bangkok? I stayed there not long ago, and I have a lot of photos and videos. My girlfriend from Korat said it's very high. So no, I haven't. But the thing about Thailand, it's not hard to find a high soul hotel, is it? They're everywhere. I mean, they're saturated. One thing Bangkok likes is high soul bars, high soul restaurants, high soul clubs. I mean, they've even got apartment buildings called High Soul, HISO. It's true. I might have done years ago, but I can't remember. Pupmaster 1, I double checked Eva Airlines luggage allowance. It's only 23 kilos. Sorry, everyone, but to be fair, their website is confusing. It's not only you. I was speaking to Jason on the phone because he's coming over with his girlfriend, and he's got a budget ticket and an economy ticket. And he was telling me about his typical Asian, like my wife as well. They pack everything but the kitchen sink. And he was saying, well, you don't need all this gear when you come out here. And then in the conversation, he said to me, "Oh, but we get we're allowed 2 bags of 23 kilos each." And I said, "Jason, you're not, mate. Honestly, it's confusing." Because the way it's worded on their website, a lot of people think it says times 2, 23 kilos. And you look at that and you think, oh, wow, I can take 46 kilos. But you think about it logically, a business class traveler where the ticket's 2 to 3 times more is permitted 40 kilos luggage and 15 kilos hand luggage. Okay. So why would an economy ticket allow you 46 kilos? It's not. What they're saying, you're allowed 23 kilos total. So if you want to bring one bag that's 13 kilos and another bag that's 10 kilos, you're welcome to do it. What they're saying is you don't need to put it in all one bag, okay? But you definitely can't take 46 kilos, not on an economy ticket. I don't know if this is true, but somebody told me Air India, if you go to India on an economy, they allow you 50 kilos. Is that right? I mean, when you see some people going back to India at the airport, maybe it's true. I've seen people with a lot of luggage. Pat Thai, clever. Swadi competed from Bangkok, Ting Tong Ka. Yeah, how you doing? I was watching that sketch, Little Britain, with Ting Tong when she arrives at the guy's flat and he says, "You're not Ting Tong, that's not you." "Yes, Mr. Dudley, it's me." Very, very funny. Randy, how you doing? Good conversations with you this week. Randy's over there in the States. I've been talking to him by text messenger. Martin Ryder, imagine paying 2,000 bar fine and you get back and find meat and 2 veg staring at you. They wouldn't be the first one to do that, Martin. Let me just bear with me. Jonathan Wells. Right. When I moved to my 2-bedroom house from my 4-bedroom in the UK, think there might be a trip over there. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Why not? Why not make the most of it? Martin Ryder says, "Hi, so expensive rip-off." Okay. It's the oh, that's the hub, is it? Is that the apartment? The HISO hub. Okay. I just seen a picture of it today and I thought, HISO, that's actually called an apartment. I mean, one of the funniest signs I've ever seen, when you're going around Asia, you see funny, really, some of they translate the word to become the name of their business, but it doesn't always translate well. And I remember one of the funniest signs I've ever seen in my life was I was working I'm going back to probably 1987. I was working in Kinshasa in Zaire. That's what it was called then. It might have changed its name now. President Mobutu was in power back then, very close to Brazzaville. Brazzaville and Kinshasa are the two closest cities in the world because they're only separated by the river between the two of them. And one of the funniest things, when I was leaving there, when I finished my contract, I was on my way to the airport, and of course it's relatively very poor, you know, and they have these businesses that line the roadside, you know, dirt tracks. So we wouldn't even call them roads. I'm talking 86, not now. They might have 6-lane highways, you know. And one of the funniest things I ever seen, I was going down this dusty dirt road on the way to the airport, and there was this shack, okay, and I've seen better garden sheds in gardens in council houses here, you know, government houses. You look at a ropey old shed that's been in a garden for 10 years. It wasn't that good, right? And the signage on it was I forget the name, but just say it was, I don't know, and Angela. It said, Angela's International Hairdress Stylist for men and for women. And then it said, London, New York, Paris. You know, I remember looking at it and I thought, wow, London, New York, Paris. And there's this shack on the side of a dusty road. They probably had a blunt pair of scissors and a comb. That was probably the total makeup of their international hairstylist kit, as it were. But, you know, they try. I'm not taking the mickey. I just thought it was quite funny. Jamie, in my experience, over 10 plus trips, the ladyboys are always very upfront about being a ladyboy. They don't need the aggro of the reaction of a drunk, unsuspecting guy back at the hotel. Correct. And the other thing is, like, I don't know why this subject, we're talking about ladyboys every week, but the thing is, they don't get offended if you ask them. If you're not sure, you say, look, are you a lady? The ones who get offended, like I said to you last week, are the women. Some women, if you say, look, are you a ladyboy? Imagine how offensive that is. If you're sitting on a bar and a nice looking girl comes up to you and she says, are you actually a man or a woman? You know, you'd be offended, wouldn't you? Some people like it probably, though. The Wutong Life, guys, watch your bank account. Don't fall in love with a working girl. You will be taking care of her entire family. Well, it's story time tomorrow. We got more of the same. Some good. I've got 2 stories for you tomorrow, 3 for next week. Richard Harris says, keep away from Air India. Total nightmare. Well, I actually flew Air India years ago. Again, it was a bit later than my Kinshasa trip. It was 19. Let me think what it was. It was 1990. They actually flew the Taj Hotel in Bombay, where I used to work. They actually flew me for an interview over there, and they paid for it because they do deals with Air India. You know, they got managers and they, you know, do each other. But back then it wasn't bad. I mean, it was economy seat, but it wasn't any different to any other airline, any worse. I thought it was okay. I don't know. You know, things change, don't they? Okay, right. Professor Baxida, do you think the Thai election coming up, all the drug laws on cannabis will change again? No, I don't. Absolutely not. And the reason for that is because it doesn't matter what party gets in. Some of the very high up political people have got cannabis farms, so it's not in their interest to change the law because it'll ruin their business. Whatever side, you know. What I think, if I had to predict, I don't normally talk politics on this channel, but if I had to predict, what I would say is they'll probably clean it up a bit, the rules. They definitely won't overturn it because there's too much money invested, both foreigners investment and Thais, and there's a lot of very rich Thai people own cannabis farms. I won't name him, but one of the biggest ministers has got the second biggest farm out there. I didn't want to say the word because YouTube don't monetize me if they catch that word. But I don't know. I don't think they'll turn over the law. Like I said, it's too much money. I think what they'll do, they'll start. There's too many of these dispensaries around, aren't there? And people are smoking it on the street and they're not supposed to. I think they'll tighten up the law on the kind of retail end of it, the end user, you know. But as far as the producers, no, I honestly don't. I might be wrong, but I just think there's too much money involved. Aussie rules. Eva Air. Okay, let's talk about luggage again. Eva Air 2 pieces, 32 kilos, 70 pound, each business class. Okay, what's that? Eva Air equals 2 pieces of 32 kg, 70 pounds. Well, that's not right, actually, because 88 pounds is, I think I'm right in saying 88 pounds equals 40 kilos. So 32 kilos can't be. Yeah, no, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. That's quite confusing how you've written it. So you're saying Eva Air equals 2 pieces. So are you saying Eva Air allows you 2 pieces of 30 kg on a business class? Okay, maybe 70 pounds. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. I don't know. I've not, you know, I always take one suitcase, whoever I fly with, usually. Always check the hands. Yeah, correct. Mind you, saying that, I do know a very nice girl in Bangkok, slightly big hands. She's got that look about her, but she's definitely a lady. How do I know? Because my friend's dating her. Right, Ricky. A buzzing Pattaya video from 2021 said that if you start health insurance policy after 62, they will cancel coverage after 70. Also, they will cancel if your blood pressure goes above 140. You know, they all vary. Pacific Cross, for instance, if you take a policy out with them before you're 65, they don't cancel you. They'll go to 99 years old as long as you take the policy out before you're 65. I do know a lot of the other insurance companies, they do things like this, but I told you what I'm going to do now, because I'm just going to self-insure. I'm going to put 1 million baht in the bank, and I'll carry some, I've got some emergency details that I carry in English and in Thai in my wallet. And if anything happens to me, that I'll be taken care of. I don't want to get into the whole health. I don't want to get into the whole healthcare issue again. I am going to do a follow-up video to my initial one when I was a bit upset with that insurance company that I didn't name. What I'm going to do, I'm going to visit a couple of hospitals that they did recommend that are cheaper but good, and I'm going to make a couple of videos. I'm going to make at least one more video. I'll correlate the information. I'll go and do the research, and then I'll do it in my apartment so it's nice and calm and clear, and I can get all the details across. I mean, one good thing about doing a video in your apartment, okay, it's a bit boring compared to walking around a market or something, but there's no noise, there's no distraction, and you can really concentrate on what you want to say. Darren Drew, thank you. Hope you're well, Peter. A small donation. Thanks, Darren. Very generous. The Wutong Life. Airlines always damage your luggage, dents, scrapes. Do you wrap your luggage in plastic at the airport? If you do, and customs opens your luggage, they will rewrap it for you. To be honest, I've never had I've got to stop saying to be honest. I've never had a problem with luggage at all. I've always had one of these Samsonite. I bought it in Bahrain actually in '88, and I'm still using it. I've actually bought a new suitcase because I'm going out full time soon. I bought this. I told you last week. I bought this really big suitcase. £50 it cost me, and it's huge. And like Damien quite rightly pointed out a while, those Samsonite suitcases, you know, the hard suitcases, they're pretty good. But I didn't realize when they're empty, they're actually quite heavy. They're about 5 kilos as opposed to modern suitcases. You know, I bought the nylon one. The big plastic ones that open up in the middle. The problem with them is when you try to close it, all the stuff falls out of the top. So I prefer the hard canvas ones where they have the zip going around the top, and then you can fill it right to the top. But this thing I got's huge, you know, so I'll have no problem. I'll weigh it before I go. And the good thing about Thai Airways, if for instance, say I had 50 kilos, I can go online and buy a block of 10 kilos off them a lot cheaper than if I just turned up at the airport. But, you know, this will be my last time. So, right. Thai Airways was 30 kilos and checked, and 7 kg carry on. Yeah, if you're talking about economy, it's Thai Airways is 23 kilos economy now, 7 kilos hang luggage. If you're on business, it's 40 kilos, you know, checked in luggage, 40 kilos, which is about £88. And I believe they allow you about 12, 15 kilos of hand luggage. But don't look that up for yourself. I know the 40 kilos is definitely right. Not sure about the hand luggage. Right, Jason Finch says, Peter, I feel bad for the girls in Pattaya. Jason, you need to elaborate on that, mate. Tell us why and we'll discuss it. Right, Mike Oxmels, the real Dutch Frank, don't you take part in the Sweden? Okay. Paul Hoskin, when the meat's well done, you get the crackling yummy. All right. Right, Anton. Hello, Peter. Did you notice about problems between Russians and Westerners in Thailand? No, not really, because a lot of them are in Phuket. Apparently, there's 7,000 Russians now in Phuket, and they're starting to open businesses. I have heard there's a little bit of conflict with some of the locals because they're actually competing with them. You know, they're opening business and competing, taking a little bit of business away from the Thais, which obviously they don't like. There's 7,000 Russians there. Apparently, I didn't come across too many Russians in Pattaya, but apparently Jomtien is full of Russians as well. I haven't heard about any conflicts, no, with Russians and foreigners, no. Right, Clive, welcome back. How you doing? Evening, Peter Mongers. 10-day in hospital on mosquito bites that has badly affected my left leg and blood. At one point last week, there was talk of surgery. Take precautions, guys. Well, good to have you back in the stream, Clive. I'll tell you a true story now. There was a guy... he was well known around Bangkok. He ran bars and go-go clubs in Bangkok. He was called Dave the Rave, not the Dave the Rave that comes in here. He's a different one. But Dave the Rave, he ran Spankies. He ran Billboard when it was called the Carousel, and some other bars out there. And he lived out there for a long, long time. He had something similar happen, and he went to a Thai government hospital because they're not paid the biggest money in the world, bar managers in Thailand. And he went to a government hospital with his wife or his living partner, and they wrongly diagnosed him. And when he came, he had to come back to the UK. And they actually, to cut a long story short, and this is true, that he lives in Stamford now. They actually ended up amputating both of his legs, but below his knees, and he has these metal legs now. But they could have cured it if he'd gone to a good hospital. But he went to, because he didn't have a lot of money, he went to a government hospital, and they wrongly diagnosed it. I have heard from other people that they're excellent, the government hospitals. Even though they're government hospitals and they're cheap, they do a good job. I don't know, but maybe this was just a little bit much. So yeah, you're right, Clive. But it's quite scary. I thought you were going to the Philippines. Was that in the Philippines? I've been bitten lots of times. I've never had anything happen with the mosquito bites ever. I've been very lucky. Right. I was in Sawadee restaurant in Hua Hin. They asked if I knew you and had been in there. I was in the Sawadee restaurant Hua Hin. They asked if I knew you and had been in there. I'm not sure. I can't remember where the Sawadee restaurant is. I'm surprised they can remember me, whoever they are. Yours Travels, Clive, get well soon, buddy. I thought something was up. Okay. Yeah, we didn't see you for a long time, Clive. I kind of explained it away that you were you had this new Filipino girlfriend that you were talking about. Okay. Seamus. That is a real, you don't get any more Irish than a name like Seamus Doherty. So Seamus, happy St. Patrick's Day, mate. It's the 17th of March. It's your day to celebrate. Have a few cold ones tonight. Jason Finch, what about the girls 50 kilo? All right. What about the girls 50 kilo? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Very droll. Puppet Master. Hello, Peter. Good evening, sir. How much would a taxi cost from Bangkok Airport? You mean up to Bangkok? Any help with this one? It depends which taxi you get in. They don't want to put their meters on when they pick up the airport. I would say, including the airport, I would say don't pay any more than 500. Even that's more than you should pay. I mean, if a Thai got in and he put the meter on and he didn't take the highway, it probably cost 220, 270 baht. You want to go by the highway. It's an extra 70 baht. Just you say to the guy, whatever you do the deal at the end of it, just say to him, including highway, right? You pay highway. I've paid 300, 400, 500. The thing is, I've given this tip a lot of times, right? When you come out of the airport, instead of heading out the glass doors arrivals, you want to go up to the departures, because why? You've got thousands of people arriving, going out those glass doors, looking for taxis to get in town, and you're queuing up. They've got a taxi lane you have to queue up. They've got these expensive private taxis. If you come out and walk to your right, there's a glass elevator there. You get in there and you go up to the departures level. Well, all those taxis are dropping people off. Okay, all the people at the top level, the departures, they're all going into flights. They're not leaving the airport like downstairs. So if you come out, instead of coming out of departures, take the glass elevator. It's very close, very quick. Go up to departure levels, come out. You'll get the deal of a lifetime, because they're going back empty, right? And even a couple of $100 baht will help them out. They won't do it for a couple of $100 baht, maybe 300 baht, But that works for me. Love ZG, can you tell us what is minimum money that you need to go through a month and have a good time over there? You know what? This is one of the hardest questions that gets asked over and over and over again. And I actually did a video, I can't remember what it's called, about 6 months ago. And I did 3 budgets. Somebody who's gone out as a budget traveler, somebody who's going out as a mid-class, 3-4 star hotel, and somebody who stays in 5-star hotels and does everything by the best. And I worked it all out. But I'll try and answer you as best as you can. I don't know what sort of a traveler you are, but let's just presume you're a budget traveler. You're going to stay in a 2 or 3 star hotel, nice hotel, nothing special. You're going to go out and have some beers every night. It's the ladies. That's what eats your money up. When you go into a go-go bar and you're buying ladies' drinks and you pay the bar fine and, the company for her to come back and have a few drinks with you, that's where your money goes. It's really hard to give you an estimation. It's, I'll push my consultancy here. I do a one-on-one consultancy. It's very cheap, right? Where I'll send you a link. You'll come into a private stream with me. If you come into a private stream with me for an hour, it's cheap, as I say. You can tell me how you travel, what you intend to do. You can talk about anything, and I can give you a pretty accurate budget. But here, just you, I don't know you. I don't know what sort of traveler you are. I haven't got a clue, honestly. You need to come into a private stream with me. Tell me where you need to stay, how many short times you can, all that sort of thing, and I can work it out for you. Right. Little bit of a plug there as well. I'll tell you what, it's half an hour in. Let's do the Monger minute, because I always do it twice now. I'll do it at the end as well. I've got quite a few different. I've got a new competition for you tonight. But let's do this now. I think it was a Monger 2 minutes tonight. One or two plumpers in there. I just noticed, when I'm doing it, I wasn't concentrating as much, I don't think. But there you go, the Monger 2 minutes. Right, let me tell you about the good news, what's happened with me. For weeks and weeks and weeks, you've been hearing me say, it's so frustrating. I haven't got a date. I don't know when I'm moving. I've come back. I've been here 2 weeks now, 3 weeks here. Good news. I've got a date. If all goes according to plan, fingers crossed and toes and everything else I can cross. If everything goes according to plan, this time next week, I'll be doing a live stream from a hotel at Heathrow Airport. Honestly, yeah, it's come together now. It could, in theory, still go wrong, but it's very, very doubtful now. We're in a change, so my buyer wanted to move in a bit earlier. He's got his mortgage and everything. He's living with his in-laws, with a family. He's desperate to get in here now, so that's fine. His buyer is now exchange contract, so it's legally binding, so it's going to happen. We're going to exchange on Thursday, and then this Friday we should be moving out. It's a nightmare, honestly. I mean, I've had to cut my internet from I've had to call all the utility companies. I've stopped the electric, the gas, the council tax. What else? My internet. I've kept it till the end of the month just in case he cut it tonight or something. You know what they're like. So I've done all that. I've now got a 6-foot skip to non-UK. It's a big metal box that goes on the back of a lorry and they drop it on your drive and you can fill it with rubbish. I've now got a 6-foot skip that's coming on Monday. I'm going to break down the office. I'm going to reformat my hard drive to this PC because I can't take it with me. Nobody wants it, so I'm going to bin it basically, which is a shame because it's a powerful computer. Even my daughters don't want it. They use laptops now. Nobody uses these desktops. So yeah, I'm going to be spending the next week. Frankel's coming around to give me a hand on Tuesday. I'm just going to bin the lot, and I've had a bit more luck because, my wife's place that she's got all new integrated white goods, so like washing machine, dishwasher. It's all integrated. So she doesn't want to take anything from here. She doesn't want the sofas, nothing. We've got 2 big sofas, and the guy who's coming in here, because he lived in a flat with his wife and 2 kids, he had the same thing. It was all integrated. So he was going to have to buy it. So I phoned him up and I said, look, if you want, I'll leave it all here. And I sent him pictures. He said, great. We thought we were going to have to go out and buy all that stuff. So he's going to move in. He's going to have a dishwasher, a washing machine. He's going to have a fridge freezer. He's got 2 sofas, a few rugs and stuff like that. So that saved me a lot of hassle. And also this place, I built it with my own hands coming up for 18 years ago now when my kids were young. I couldn't build it now because I've lifted big pieces of plasterboard and also soundproofed it. It's got all insulation in the roof and in the floor so I don't get cold feet. And if he didn't want it, I would have had to break it all down. But he's a teacher, so this will be great for him. He can come in here, CCTV, won't miss a postman. So fingers crossed, guys. If it all goes this week, it's going to be a very busy week for me this week. I'll do a live stream on Sunday as always. And then Monday, that's it. I'm breaking all this down. I'll be working from my laptop. And like I say, hopefully next Friday, I'll be in a hotel room at Heathrow. I'm not going to tell you which hotel. A few nutters out there, isn't there? But, let's see what happens. And you know what? I'm actually nervous about it because, I've known it's coming for a long time. We've been planning it. We know what's happening. We've been waiting for a buyer. Then we're waiting for it to go through. I've been complaining that it's not happening fast enough. And now that it is happening, I'm actually really nervous. I don't know how I'm going to feel on the last day because you think about it. I've been here 18 years with my family, right? And, that minute of the day is going to come where the truck's going to be full of their stuff and they drive off and I'm going to be left in an empty house and then I'll get a taxi down to the airport. But it's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to handle it psychologically. I'm sure a lot of you guys have gone through the same. It's going to be tough. It'll be good to get out there and start again. It's closing a chapter in my life, but it's going to be tough. I think psychologically, me standing alone in this house without my daughters and wife and no furniture, absolutely empty, and stepping out the front door for the last time. Although I'm happy to be going back to Bangkok, I think it's going to be very hard to keep it together, like anybody with a bit of emotion. So I'll try and film some of it, but if it gets too emotional, then obviously I can't. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, so I better change the subject. Right, let me go down to the later comments, and then I'll work backwards again. Right, Real Reno, good for you. Bangkok misses you. Yeah, I've got some things going on there I can't tell you about right now, some personal things that have made me happy. I think you'll probably guess what they are, right? I won't say anything more than that. Right. Peter, on the other hand, have you abandoned the family? I wouldn't do that to Benji. I've had him for 12 years. He's been my best mate. While I've been going through all this shit here, I come home and he's like my best friend. He's always wagging his tail and places. No, of course not. My daughters love him. They'll look after him between them. My eldest daughter's got her own place. Well, actually, it's my place that she rents off me. And, they were great. When I was away for 5 months, they walked him and fed him and everything. And no, of course, I wouldn't abandon my dog. That's terrible. I wouldn't. If I had to abandon my dog, I'd delay my trip for 2 years or whatever it was. Right, No Name. Here's to your move in a new life. Right, thank you, No Name. What I was going to say to you, I'm not going to do any e-beg. I'm just saying to you, what a rip-off this is, right? The hotel I'm going to, I thought I'll treat myself, right? I always, if I have to stay in a hotel, thanks for the super chat, by the way, No Name. Right, if I have to stay in a hotel, I always go for a budget hotel because I want to save money, right? So I'll go to Heathrow and I'll check into the Premier Inn because it's £59 a night. But it's got no fridge. It's then the rooms are nice and spacious. It's a comfortable bed. There's nothing wrong with the room, okay? But it's a budget hotel and you feel like you're in a budget hotel. And it just feels, for me, claustrophobic. It's done, like I said, I can't pick anything out and say that's not good and that's not. It's all good, but there's no fridge. That pissed me off last time because I took some beers with me and I couldn't keep them cold. And I've always flown out economy, always, for all these years. But I had that terrible flight when I came back with the kids screaming next to me, and then I got moved to where the toilet is and people were nudging me all night, and I thought, sod it, I'm getting a little bit of money back for this. I thought, sod it, I'm going to book into a real nice hotel at the airport, 5-star, of course, right? It was only £130. It wasn't the end of the world, and I thought I'll fly back business. I've got the last business seat on that flight, so if it goes wrong, I'm going to have to mess about a lot. But anyway, but what the point of the story, right? I'm, as always, rattling on. Cheers. The point of the story is this. When I went through what the hotel has, the amenities and everything, yes, they have a fridge in the room. Pictures of the room don't look budget. They're very nice bed and very well appointed and everything. But what they say is free Wi-Fi. Okay, great. You'd expect that in a hotel. And then it says under that, super fast broadband, £15 a day. So instead of giving their guests totally free, fast broadband, what they do is they give you shit broadband, slow, or medium, I don't know what it is. But if you want to do some stuff on the internet and you need a fast connection, you have to pay £15 on top of it. I just think that's a rip-off because of the price of the room, But the thing is, I want to do a stream next Friday and I can't risk, the signal going and, that little white wheel going around in the middle. So, if I want to do a stream and I want a good connection, I'm going to have to pay it, aren't I? It's not the end of the world. I just think it's taking the mickey a little bit. Charging 5-star prices, and then you have to pay £15 for the internet, and then the taxi's £12 to the airport. Right, Dutch Frank. Yeah, I think it's £15 a day or £15 for 8 hours or something. Certainly not longer than a day, that's for sure. Right, Right. Clive says Hereford County Hospital is a good hotel. Wi-Fi's holding up well. Yeah. Okay. Sorry to hear you're in there, Clive. Right. Ricky says, just curious as to your heating bill this year. Wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be because the government gave everybody £67 a month, didn't they, towards it, which is ending, I believe, 31st of March. And mine, dual, I mean, I'm a 4-bedroom house, you know, it was only, how much was it now? About a couple £100 a month. It wasn't dear. Like people going, saying, oh, 400, 500 bucks gone through the roof. Mine was, yeah, it wasn't that bad. We got the heating on most of the time and showers going. I don't know. Maybe they made a mistake. Paul Hoskins, what about the dog? I've explained that one already. Right, Bottle Baby, you're not making it easy on yourself. Just remember, it's not a funeral. Yeah, I understand that. I understand it's not a funeral. But what you got to remember is, I'm not trying to be morbid, but, you know, I've been married to my wife for 33 years, right? That's a long time. And this house is where I raised my daughters, you know, and I'm looking forward to Thailand, and it will close a chapter in my life, seeing it empty and see them drive off. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, whether we argued or we're splitting up or whatever, it's, you know, we're a family. And for me to see them go off and walk around an empty shell of a house where, you know, we've had Christmases and birthday parties and kids swimming in the pool in the back and different dogs we've had, and, you know, just memories. You know, there are some good memories to come out of it. So it's not, I'm not making it easy for myself. It's just, you know, it's a human factor. I'm human, right? I've got feelings. I've got emotions like everybody else, you know, and I can't just shut it off and say, well, I'm going to Bangkok and that's the end of it. You know, I mean, I will get over it. Of course I will. I have to get over it. It's not like it's my choice. But, you know, right. Premier in Heathrow, no Wi-Fi. Right. I didn't know that, because what I did, because I've got very fast Wi-Fi on my mobile phone. So when I didn't do a stream, but when I went on my laptop, I just hooked up to my mobile phone 5G and I was getting a really good signal. I didn't check it, but I've checked this time, so I know I've got Wi-Fi. I suppose at the end of the day, I could do a stream through my phone because it's fast, but every now and again it drops out. I had it, where was I? I was doing a stream, I think it was on the beach or something. It drops out sometimes. Yeah, I do. That's a good point there, Professor Baxida. Do you hate it when the Thais treat their dogs so bad? That is changing. There's two kinds of dogs now in Thailand. You've got the usual 7-Eleven street dogs who tend to attack at night. I told you that story when I was in Jumpton. I went over to do a live stream and I just walked down the beach, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. There were 3 or 4 dogs outside the 7-Eleven just down the road, and I was walking towards them. It's dark, and one stood up to challenge me, and of course I had to walk that way. I wasn't going to run away, so I had to walk past him, and he started coming at me, barking, snarling, and he wanted to take a chunk of me. But what those dogs have learned very, very quickly is the Thais carry sticks with them when they go about their business, and they whack them. They really do. They just like whack these dogs. And luckily for me, I had a selfie stick. So when this dog came up and started snarling, I just waved the stick at him, and it was like a magic portion. He went off with it. He literally put his tail behind his legs. His ears went tight, and he scarpered because he thought it was a stick, and if he came to me, he knew he was going to get bashed with it. But in answer to your question, it's sad, isn't it? I just think it's a way of life out there. But there are a lot of Thais now who have got dogs, and they look after them properly. They bath them, they vet them. I know Thais they're like the little dog. Not only the little dogs, actually. I'll tell you where you'll see a lot of dogs. If you go to the, it's not called the Queen Surrogate Park, but the park at the back of Queen Surrogate. If you go there just before it gets dark, 5:30, 6 o'clock, there's a lot of people, Thais, not foreigners, with dogs, and they've got Labradors, they've got all these little dogs and stuff. So there are the Thais who've got the dogs as pets and they look after them. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's sad. I mean, I like animals, you know, I've had dogs all my life. And to see these scabby things laying around begging for food, it's not very nice. Right. Well, I used to work for that company, Martin. Martin Ryder. The Mercure is a walking distance from T5. Excellent hotel. Well, they're run by Accor, the company I worked for when I was in the hotel trade. And in Asia, we class that as a 3-star hotel. I used to when I used to travel from Khon Kaen, when I was based in Khon Kaen for 2 years, I sometimes had to do business trips to Bangkok, and they always put me up in the Mercure Hotel, which was rebranded from the Palace Hotel, and it's now lost its Mercure and it's gone back to the Palace Hotel. Bit of a dive, actually. Clive Allen, hi Peter from the Philippines after 5 months back in Asia. Okay, Clive, I've got a story tomorrow. The stories tomorrow. The first one is from the Philippines. Actually, I just want to say, if there's anybody there who wants to send a story and you think it should only be in Thailand, I know the channel's about Thailand bound and all that stuff, but if you had a girlfriend in the Philippines or Vietnam and you've had some unusual experience, she ripped you off, or she went off with your best friend, or you ended up marrying her and living happily ever after, you can send it in and I'll read it out. It doesn't have to be only in Thailand. A lot of Philippines is very, very similar. And I've read out several stories from the Philippines, which have been great stories. And like I say, the first story I've got another story that took place in Siem Reap in Cambodia. That was a very good story tomorrow. So, although it's a Thai-based channel, you can send stories in from where. I don't really want them from Europe or America or Russia. It's the Asian ones I want, the Asian ladies. Okay, Pat Thai, come fly with me, come Peter. I'll bring my mother to give you happy ending, pretty please. Okay, I'm not sure if I want your mother. Right, Michael DiCaprio. Peter, business class Thai Airways next week's 3-600 one-way directly. Yeah, you're right. I made a split-second decision to book this ticket because what happened. I'll give you a little tip here about booking a ticket. Right. All these sites like all these online, you can pick the day and destination, and you get to choose from all these different airlines. You've got Net Flights, Expedia, Agoda Flights, Sky Scanner, last minute deal flights. All these kind of sites. You know what I'm talking about, right? You go in there. Yeah, you can get some deals on there. They're generally all about the same. But what I found, this is my personal experience, what I found with all those sorts of sites is when it goes wrong, or you need to speak to customer services, or you need to change something, that's when it becomes really difficult. They're great if you just go on there, buy a ticket and fly on the day. You don't have any issues. But, they're all kind of middlemen, aren't they? And when it gets to the point where you need help, that's where I find I come unstuck with them. The company I use, I've started using them again. I used to use them years ago, but I'm going to start. Well, I'm not flying anymore, hopefully. But this ticket, I booked it with a company called Dialer Flight. And what I like about Dialer Flight is they'll pick up the phone in under a minute normally. They're open till 8 o'clock at night. They're slightly dearer than these Net Scanner and last minute flight and all that. Not much, maybe £50. But the thing is, they always pick up their phones. They pick up their phones fast. They're based in London. They're not, some call center in India or the Philippines. And what I like about them is if you need to make changes, right, they'll do it all for you for no charge. The airline might charge you 30 quid, I don't know. But just say you buy a ticket and you're planning to go on this date, and for whatever reason you think, shit, I can't go because this is happening. Instead of you farting about and going to the airline and all the rest of it, you can call up Dialer Flight and say, look, my plans have changed. This is what I need to do now. They'll do it for you. They'll do it on the spot for you. And what they'll also do, they'll try and get you the best rate. So if you, like me, I'm booked on a lunchtime flight, right? But I like to fly nighttime. So if I said that I can't fly on Sunday, I want to fly on Wednesday, without me asking, they'd come back and say, well, hang on a minute. If you take the night flight, it's £400 cheaper. That's how they work. So I'm starting to use them now. And the reason I made the decision to buy that last business class flight is because I was talking to Damien about it. He kind of talked me into buying a business class ticket on Thai. I did look on Eva Air. When I first looked, they wanted £1,600 one way. That was Thai Airways, and that was 2 weeks ago. I should have booked it. I didn't. Eva Air were quoting like 3,700 one way, and I did check the return trip as well, and it wasn't any cheaper. People say if you book the return, sometimes it's cheaper, and it wasn't. And I left it, and I looked. When did I book the ticket? I've just booked it this week, but say the night before I booked it, I looked, and there were 2 seats, business class seats left on Thai Airways, coming up at £2,189. Okay, and then Eva Air again with 3,700. I thought, shall I book it? Shall I book it or shall I not book it? I couldn't decide, and I thought, well, what if it all goes wrong and I don't move out of the house? I'm going to have hassle trying to change it. And then I looked again a few days later. No, I called Dialer Flight because I remember their service was really good. And I told them what I wanted to do, and they looked and they said, well, look, there's just 1 ticket left on that flight. And I thought, what do I do? Because if the house sale does go through and I want to fly, there's no way I want to sit in a hotel in Heathrow for 3-4 nights by myself after just leaving here. And I said to the guy, I know you're not lying, because yesterday there were only 2 seats. And I said, well, what happens if it doesn't happen? I need to change it. He said, we'll do all that for you. And I said, really? I said, do you charge me? He said, no, the airline will charge you something, not much. He said, but we might have to change, nighttime to day or whatever. I said, all right, I'll book it. And it cost me $2,189. I think it's going to happen now. I can't remember why we got onto that subject. Something to do with what we're talking. Yeah, Michael DiCaprio, the business class Thai Airways next week, 3,000. Yeah, okay. So that's really gone up. When I first looked, it was 1,600. I've just paid 2,189, and now 3,600. I mean, that's really expensive. But I did speak to Dial a Flight about this because people are always saying, why are flights so expensive now compared to before? I know we've had COVID and the war and all the rest of it, but it's right. What Dial a Flight told me, they said, Eva Air and Thai Airways dominate that trip now, okay? You've got all the other airlines who stop off in Qatar, Dubai, Sweden and Finland and all this sort of thing, right? But to get on a direct flight from Heathrow and get off at Bangkok direct, it's Eva Air and it's Thai Airways, and they're dominating the routes right now, right? And right now, because people haven't been to Thailand for 2-3 years, everybody's gone at the same time. There's a lot of people in Thailand at the moment. All the flights are completely full. The flight I came back on was full. There wasn't a spare seat on the plane, right? And because of this, it's supply and demand. So if they've got 2 seats left and that aircraft isn't flying for 2 weeks, they're not going to sell them at £1,600. They're thinking, well, there's only 2 seats left and we've got 2 weeks till we fly. We can charge what we want. And they can. I paid it. I paid 2,180. I wouldn't have paid $3,000. Sod that. But, this is how it works. Okay. Right, Wutong Life. Are there any new scams in Thailand? It's generally the same sort of stuff you'll come across. I'm not really. It's the usual sort of thing. It's the bars. They put an extra drink thing in if you're not keeping an eye on your drinks, and I can't think of anything sort of like that I've never heard of before. Mind you, I did see a video where somebody said new scams to look out for in Thailand. But I watched it and I remember thinking, well, they're not really new. They're just kind of a twist on old scams. Yeah, they're a great airline, actually. Benz and Brews, is it Drunk Treats Archive? That's a name and a half. Try saying that when you've had a few. I usually fly Emirates. Emirates are a fantastic airline, fantastic. But, I just don't see the point in paying for a business class ticket. You have your meal, you fall asleep on that. The bed, it's a full-size bed. They give you a mattress, right? You fall asleep 2 hours later, you're getting up because you have to get off and walk around the airport, and then you get on again, you get another. I just don't see the point of it. If you're going to go business class and you're going to have a few drinks, whatever, stretch out, put that bed out, you've got pillows, you've got a blanket, have a nice sleep, wake up refreshed. On the other hand, some people do like it. I've talked to people who said, no, it's great. You do 6 hours, get out, stretch your legs, and then you do the second leg, but it's not for everyone. Right, Mark, welcome into the stream. Hi, Peter. I'm not getting notifications about you online. I don't know. It's strange, Mark. Obviously, you're not blocked. And have you hit the bell icon? I'm not. I know you're not an idiot, of course, but as well as subscribing, if you want to be notified when new videos come out, you need to click the bell icon, and that'll basically because this is what happens half an hour before the stream. People get notified, and when I come into the stream, I can see there's maybe a dozen people waiting for the stream to start. The other thing is people say, why do you do that 3-minute intro? Well, I've said before, the reason for the 3-minute intro is because if you just go live, you're like, hello, is anyone there? You'll see 1 or 2 people, and it slowly builds up. Whereas if you do the 3-minute intro, people can see that you're live and they can see the countdown. I think, well, I'll stay here now because he's coming on in a minute. So by the time my streams start, I've always got over 100 people from the first second I start speaking. That's why I do it. And I like the music as well. But no worries, Mark. We're only an hour in, so plenty of time to go yet. Okay, Mark says YouTube's algorithms gate people. I sometimes get people write to me and say, why have you blocked me? And I'm like, I haven't blocked you. I don't know. YouTube are a really strange beast. I had, we monetize the videos, right? So what happens? They put adverts on there. And if there's anything on your video that they don't like, they won't monetize it. So you still get your video still watched. You still get a share of the premium revenue, but it's nowhere near as much as if you have adverts on. Okay. And last week, my video was okay. My live stream, it's monetized. No problems. Like a green dollar sign up. That means it's monetized, right? But the one I did last Friday, or was it Sunday, I think. And the one from the Friday before, it's got an orange dollar sign. And that means it's not having any adverts on it. And what you can do, you can appeal it, but it's so It's so difficult with YouTube because they write back to you and they say, well, after manually checking your video, yeah, we've deemed it's not suitable for advertisers because it breaks our community guidelines. And you think, well, what's wrong with it? And you don't know because they don't come back with they don't say, well, your picture was too sexy, or you said the word C. I don't want to say it right. Or you were talking about intimate things too much, or you swore. So you don't know. So what happens? You become very, paranoid. You don't want to talk about girls. You don't want to show pictures. You don't want to talk about some of the things we should be talking about because it won't get monetized. And it's so frustrating because they'll say, oh, we've put this on hold because you can't monetize it because it it breaks the community guidelines. You can appeal it if you've checked it. Yeah, I'll appeal it. I can't find anything. They come back and they say, no, we've determined it is definitely not, you've broken it's not for the community guidelines, something wrong. And you think, well, what is it? Just tell, and they don't tell you. You can't write to them. If you write to them and say, okay, fair enough, what was it you didn't like about it? You won't get an answer. Or you'll get a standard, a link. I think they use AI. It's all robotic. So when you send a question in, AI writes back to you. It can work it out. So if you write back and say, oh, I don't understand why you didn't monetize this video, could you give me the reason, please? You'll get a robot right back to you, and it will just send you a link saying something like, we found your video, not suitable. Please click here. And you click it, and it's all their community guidelines again. So you'd have to read through the whole lot, and it could be anything, So there we go. Matthew says, Thai laundry makes all your clothes stink of chemicals. Is there any alternatives? I don't think they're that bad, Matthew. Does it bother you to the point where you'd want to change your laundry? I mean, I'm very lucky now. I've got my own washing machine. I don't know. I kind of quite like the smell of the chemicals in the washing. Right, let's do a competition. We've been going for now. Now, I've got a new one for you tonight, guys. This is... it's just a one-off for a change, because I'm always doing like Spot the Thai Girl. So it's similar to that. I thought, what can I do that's slightly different? Because I'm going out to Thailand. I thought I'll do something a bit different. Now, what we've got today is so original. Spot the female Thai pilot, right? Yeah, you heard me right. So there's 8 pictures of female pilots from around Asia, right? One of them is a Thai lady. I want to know, out of these 8 pictures of female Asian Thai ladies, which number is the Thai pilot. Okay, have a go at these. Wow, that's actually quite difficult. I thought a lot more of you would have got that one, but you'll be surprised when I put the answer up. Right, okay, let's run through it. Let's see who's right and who's wrong. Quite nice looking at some eye candy there, isn't it? Right, Stephen Forex, no. Matthew, well done, Matthew. You got it right, absolutely. Was that a guess or did you really know? Ricky, okay. Richard Woolley, no. Jeff say no. Lewis C, no. A Nomad Overseas, no. Tonto, no. Peter Parker, no. Only in Thailand, no. Original F, no. Chaz Brown, no. No Name, no. Adam, just Adam, no. Anton R, no. Kelly Harnett, no. Mike K87, no. Isles of Sucking Dicks, no. George, no. To be, not to be, no. Charles Stewart, right, no. Sis, no. Mark, no. Professor, no. Graham Hawkins, no. Pupmaster, only one right answer so far. Blue Trekker, no. Clive Allen, no. Fat, yes. No. Jamie 296, no. Chaz Brown, no. Mike Oxmells, no. Andy Baker, no. Colin, no. Simon Mays, yes. We've got 2 right answers now. Tron Rogers, no. Joe Pett, no. Boulder Dan, no. Michael DiCaprio, hi, but it's not that one. Jason, sorry, mate. No. Randy, no. World Traveller Forever, no. Reggae Vibes, no. Pub Master General, no. Arnold Dawsing, is it? No. Matthew, no. Mike Sounds, no. There's a lot of answers. Right, let me just see if there's any more right ones. I'll put you out your misery. Mark says this is a crapshoot. Possibly, Mark, possibly. Right, Paul Hoskins, yes. We'll get a lot of right answers now because I've told you who's the right one. Jonathan Willis, yes. Clive, no. Sorry, mate. Any more right answers? Clive, now you've got the right answer. About 10 times there. Marvin, yes. Anybody else? I think we're all there now. Right. Now Jason's got the right answer. Super Nice got the right answer. It's funny how a lot of right answers come in at the end, isn't it? Never mind. Okay, let's put you out your misery. Not that you're really in any misery, but here's the answer. Okay, not an easy one, I know. Right, and also tonight, do you remember last week we were talking about the Ladyboy competition, and I said it's very, very difficult because you don't see hands, you don't see feet, all you see is a face, and it's real difficult to spot. Randy's always tells me he thinks he's going to be in trouble, and I always say, look, if you can see the hands and the feet, it's a lot more easier, right? As this will probably be the last Ladyboy competition I do here in the UK, what I've done for tonight's competition, I have included on most of them full body shots. Okay, so you've got feet, you've got hands, one or the other, sometimes both. So it's not just a face. So it's going to be really interesting tonight. When I do the towards the end, last hour of the stream, last half hour, I'll do the Ladyboy competition. It'll be really interesting to see how many of you guys actually get it right, who get it wrong. If you get it wrong this week, then you do have something to worry about. Okay, and if you couldn't stand any more torture, let's do joke of the week. Okay, I like this one. I go through the jokes, and if I find one that actually makes me physically laugh out loud or puts a smile on my face, I think, yeah, that's the one I'll read out. Okay, so this is this week's joke of the week. A family is at the dinner table when the son asks his father, Dad, how many kinds of boobs are there? The father, surprised, answers, well, son, a woman goes through 3 phases. In her 20s, a woman's boobs are like melons, round and firm. In her 30s and 40s, they're like pears, still nice, but hanging a bit. After 50, they're like onions. Onions, the son asks. Yes, you see them and you make them cry. This infuriated his wife and his daughter. The daughter asked, Mum, how many different kinds of willies are there? The mother smiles and says, well, dear, a man goes through 3 phases also. In his 20s, his willy is like an oak tree, mighty and strong, very hard. In his 30s and 40s, it's like a birch tree, flexible but reliable. When he gets to 50, it's like a Christmas tree. The daughter asks, a Christmas tree? Why? She says, dead from the root up and all the balls are just for decoration. Right, let's do some of this. I've got some of those funny kind of pictures in Thailand where they're tent on motorcycle and all that sort of thing. Do them later. Just breaks up the stream a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, so hi to David. Right, David says, when you say someone's got it, the right answer, then other people look at the answer, then give their answer as the same, like this two before they put any in. No, David, they're all honest people in here. They wouldn't do that. How dare you? Okay, Mark says, okay, I turned on the notification setting. Okay, you've worked that one out. That's good. Ricky, first class. So they have a first class. First class on Thai Air includes a mile-high club. Wow. I did look at the prices of first class. I think they were like £6,000 or £7,000. I remember years ago, I used to fly on an aircraft. I don't think they're around anymore. They were called Garuda Air. They're out of Indonesia. And they always had problems. The aircraft were always late taking off. And I was young. And I tell you why I used to fly them. Well, one, the company used to put me on them because they were the cheapest. But, 9 times out of 10, you got to take off in Bangkok to come somewhere else. They'd find a fault on the aircraft, and they'd put you up in a hotel in Bangkok near the airport, and we'd go out and get some cans of beer, and normally me and a friend, twin room, and it was like a free holiday. We got a hotel room, we got a meal. But the other thing about Garuda Air, they could never sell first class seats because anybody who could afford to buy first class seats, they just wouldn't book on Garuda Air because it was so unreliable. They always had problems. And like I say, I'm not sure if they're around now, but because of this, what they used to do is a lot of if you bought the economy upgrade, you actually got in business class. And sometimes if you bought a business class ticket, you actually got the first class section. So they never sold any first class. So you buy an economy seat, and a lot of the time you'll go in they didn't have economy upgrade then. But it was just, you got a lot better seat and a good service. And I remember I was lucky enough to go in the first class section, and although it wasn't the real first class experience, you did have that seat, and in the middle, it's all different configurations now. I'm talking years ago. They didn't have the beds, the seats that go into a bed, they just went right back, and they were like the size of armchairs, and they were leather, so they went back and you had a bit of a kick. But in the middle, they had a kind of bar, it was a static bar with bottles of liquor on top, and the stewardess would be away, and I'm sitting there and I'll have a vodka now, very nice. And well, let's try one. And this is in the days when you didn't have the screen in the back of every seat, or the seat in front of you. They had a screen that dropped down at the front of the aircraft. There was always someone's big head in front of it, and you couldn't choose a movie. There was 3 movies, and whatever they showed is what you got. And there's this big hanging screen. And those are the days when you could, if you're in economy, you took the last 12 seats, you could smoke. I used to be a smoker, and I remember flying on Zaire. When I went to Zaire, I remember sitting there with a friend. We had a bottle of whiskey. We were playing cards. We were Benson and Hedges on the table. Great. I mean, I'm glad it's all banned now. I don't smoke anymore. It wasn't until I gave up smoking that I realized how disgusting it actually smells. I'm not being one of these guys who's preaching because he doesn't smoke, but I didn't realize. I left school at 15, and I've always smoked, and you don't know. You have a cigarette and then you go meet somebody, or you have a cigarette and then you go in a shop real quick. But I didn't realize when I gave up, and I could smell it a mile off. You think, Jesus, you smell it on your clothes when you get in. So yeah. Right, okay, let's get back on the program here. Mark says, I flew at ANA, that's a Japanese airline, isn't it? Business class, just before COVID, hit 10,000K at the last minute. Wow. I'm sure you didn't pay 10,000K, right, Mark? $10,000. You got to remember, a lot of these guys, they don't pay it from the pocket. So if you get a guy who flies first class, a lot of the time he'll own his own business. He might own a hotel or I don't know, a string of garages that fix cars or something. And the thing is, he'll have a huge tax bill at the end of the year. And if he buys a first class ticket for £7,000, well, he can offset that as a business expense. So instead of it going to the tax man, he can fly first class, so it doesn't make any difference to him. That's why a lot of these guys as well, they drive 60, 70, 80,000 pound cars and change them every 2 years because it goes through the business. All this. I don't need to teach you this one. Right. I love how the Thai Airways hostess spray all the anti-COVID spray before takeoff, and people don't respect their face mask rules and start coughing and complaining. And it seems only when you fly into the UK they do that thing where they walk down the cabin, they spray that shit. I don't know what's in it. I always cover myself with a pillow or something. They only seem to do it when you go into the UK. Did they used to have a balcony on first class? I know somebody told me they had who was it who told me? Was it Steve? No, it wasn't Steve. I was talking to somebody, and they said on this particular flight they actually had a bar on this flight, and first class or business class. You can actually sit around this bar. Amazing, you know. I think 100 years ago, there was no flying. Stephen Forrest, a real Dutch Frank. I forked out a fortune for a new TV, so it pisses me off to watch on the phone. Okay. Right, Stephen. Anna has some gorgeous flight attention. The Japanese girls are very attractive, aren't they? I haven't flown Anna, the Japanese airline before, but you're right. You know, a lot. You don't exactly. The only. No, I won't say. I was going to crack a joke there about British Airways, but I won't because I'll get. You never know. No, my luck, there'll be somebody on here who's works for British Airways. Okay, let's have a look. George, it's useless to spray anything against COVID. It doesn't work. Well, I had 4 COVID injections and I still got it. Do you remember the dark days when I went to Thailand in December, when everybody was under lockdown and they just started to release it a little bit and you were crapping yourself? You know, I got put into that. I won't say the hotel, but I was put into a room with plastic everywhere, and I had to wait to get my test results. I would have had to stay in there for 10 days, but luckily I got out of the hotel, but everything was closed at 9 and there was hardly anybody in Thailand. I had to go because of the channel, else I wouldn't have gone. I thought, well, I've got a channel about Thailand. You can go now, but you know, it was so much hassle getting the paperwork and jumping through hoops. But I got to Thailand. I was negative. But what happened the day before I flew, I went for my fit to fly test and I had COVID and I had to miss a flight. And then I was in a hotel room for a week. And then I decided to stay another week after that. So the good old days. Okay, right. I've just put a little banner there because people were, just write it down. People were saying, like, if they take out a membership, it uses a card billing name. It doesn't use a card billing name. It uses your YouTube username as a bill. I'm going to plug it again, guys. I'm starting the members only streams. People ask me when they're starting. They're going to be starting from, I think, the first week of April will be a good time to start. So what the script will be, I'll start the stream like I do now. Instead of going for 2 hours, I'll probably go for an hour, 10 minutes. I'll cut the stream. I'll be back after 10, 15 minutes. I'll start the stream again, but it'll be a members only stream. And the reason for that, it'll piss some people off, but it's a $5 a month. You know, if you don't want to pay it, then you'll still get the free stream. But the reason I want the members only stream because I want to bring people in. I want to make it a bit of a community, and I want to let people come in and talk about their experiences. And it'll be very interesting. Everybody else does it. Right, David. Bars was on the Boeing 747 jumbo jet. Shame there are not anymore 747 flies. Yeah, I remember flying 747s. They've retired them all now, haven't they? Because they're not economical to fly. They first came out in the 70s. They were all not digital, and they're all analog instruments when they first came out, and then they went digital. And but they're just expensive. You know, they got 4 Rolls-Royce engines, whereas the aircraft now have got 2 Rolls-Royce engines, so they're cheaper to fly. And the new modern engines are more efficient, more quieter, and they've retired them all, haven't they? But yeah, they were a good aircraft in the day. How long did they go? 70s, 1890, about 40 years. Yeah. Korean Air have some attractive stewardesses. I'll tell you what, years ago, I worked I was in Dubai. Let me just try and think the year when it was. I think it was 1987. I worked in Dubai. I can't remember the hotel I worked in. But in them days, all the Asian airlines that went to London, the crews, it's all direct now, but they did like a relay system. So the hotel where I worked, we had Philippine Airlines, Singapore Airlines, EVA, Thai. We had them all of them stay in our hotel. And what they'd do, they'd fly from, say, Hong Kong. The crew would stay in the hotel I was working, and the crew that was already there would take the flight from Dubai to UK, and then there would be a different crew that came back, and they kept changing the crew because they had to stop in the midway point, the Middle East, right? And I was single in those days, and I wasn't chubby like I am now, and I was about half the age, and boy, I had a good time. Really. Good memories. Okay, Richard, how you doing, Richard? Good evening, Peter. Hope you're well. Yeah, good to have you in, Richard. We've been going for about an hour 20 now, another half an hour maybe. Good. Well, better late than ever. Looking forward to getting back though, really. I've made it my mission now. I was thinking about it today when I was out with Benji. And I thought, okay, you're going out to live now. You had your 5 months dress rehearsal. We probably spent a bit too much. had a good time, did a few bars, settled down in my apartment, and I had to think about it. And I thought, well, I'm going out there to live. You know, I don't know if I'm going to die out there or get some disease and have to come back eventually. I hope I get 10 to 20 years out of it as I am now. Obviously, I'm getting older. I'm going to be 70, 80. I don't know how long I can stay out there. I really don't know, but I had a good think about it today. And I thought, right, well, I'm not going out on a long holiday. I've got to get into a routine. And I've got to have a sensible life out there. And I've made it my mission now. And I might even film it. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get fit. And I mean it. I lost 25 kilos and then I didn't care because I had all this stress. You know, I made the video. I was like 109, 110 kilos. I went right down to about 90. And I was, you know, nice and not slim, but I wasn't fat. And my face was a lot more chiseled, as it were. And I've just put the weight on now because I know it's a bit of an excuse, but I've had a year, 18 months of all this stress from my family and everything, you know, and eating is a comfort food. And, you know, I'll have a few beers in the evening. And, you know, in England, the fridge is full, cheese and onion sandwich, Branston pickle. It's hard to resist, isn't it? Ham and cheese toasty at night. And then you go to sleep. And I've put a few pounds on, I'll be honest with you. And I've now decided when I get to Thailand, one thing, because I have to get up here to let Benji out. If I'm laying there trying to think, oh, I don't want to get up, I have to go down and let him out, you know, and feed him. And by the time I've done all that, I'm up, right? And it's normally about 9-ish. When I'm in Bangkok, I wake up and I think, oh, this is nice. You know, I'm not going anywhere. I have 10 more minutes and 2 hours goes by and you lose the day. So I've been thinking about how can I get around this problem. I thought, well, it's simple, really. I don't go out to go-go bars and that very much these days. So if I can force myself into bed before midnight, because what I do there, I'm watching Netflix on a 55-inch screen TV. I've got no one hassling me. I'm not arguing with anyone. I've got some Leo beers. I'm watching Netflix. I get into it. I look up. It's 12 o'clock. I think I'll give it half an hour. I end up going to sleep at 2 o'clock, 2:20, which is totally wrong. And then, of course, you wake up at 10 o'clock. You have a pee. You go back to bed and you wake up. It's like 11:45. And by the time you get up and have a coffee and I clean the apartment, the day is gone. So what I've decided to do, I've decided to get fit. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to force myself at a certain time to go to bed. So, right, if I'm not out, I go to bed at this time. I'm actually going to set my alarm clock every day. I'm going to force myself out of bed at 8:30. There's a gym on upstairs in my apartment. I don't care how I feel. I'm going to put on my wife beater's vest, my shorts, my tracksuits. I'm going to go up and I'm going to do a brisk 30-minute walk on the treadmill. And then I'll have my coffee. I'll go about my day. And then if I'm not doing anything in the evening, I'll go and do the 3-4 kilometers around the Queen Surrogate Park that I normally do anyway. I'm going to try and do some intermittent fasting. I'll be getting a bit sexy with a salad, right? No, I'm going to try and do some intermittent fasting. I've said it again. Some fasting. So basically you eat in a small window. So, you know, you eat your light dinner at 5:30, then you don't eat again till 1. Some other people recommend you have breakfast and dinner only, but that is my mission in life now. When I get back to Bangkok, I want to get healthy and I want to get out there and make some videos. At least one video. I want to do at least one video a week where I go outside and film something interesting. You know, do the stories on a Saturday, at least 1 or 2 live streams. Get out there and do one video a week. I'm going to do one with Bangkok Pat when I get back. We were speaking about it the other day. I won't tell you what it is, but it'll be quite interesting. Okay, I'm going to start from the bottom again. David. As I cannot at the moment get a membership on the universal credit payment, which is too low payment. We have been on a few times before, so I'll miss it. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, David. And like I've said to you many, many times, YouTube don't allow us to give away memberships, you know, because they lose their cut then. You know, they want every penny, YouTube do, right? And the only way I could give a membership away is if I bought it and put it in somebody else's name, and I'm not going to do that. So hopefully there's still the regular stream like there is now, but it just won't go on for 2 hours. It'll be an hour and then a break and then the member stream. It's the way to go. Everybody's doing it. Hopefully your situation will improve in the future. But it'll still be nice to welcome you into the regular streams anyway. Matthew. Right, what you're saying. In the interest of political correctness, you should do an LB minute, maybe not. A ladyboy minute, what, like the Monger minute? I don't know. It's a lot of work putting the Monger minute together. I don't want to do a ladyboy minute as well. I don't think I'd be able to do one anyway, because a lot of the clips they use, if I'm understanding you right, a lot of the clips, they're girls at the beach and they're dancing and all that. You don't normally see ladyboys dancing on the beach, do you? Really? And I don't know if I'd want to do that. I'm not going to say it. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Yeah, Lumpini Park is a nice park, Paul, but it's not convenient for me to get there because I've got a park literally on my doorstep. I can access it from Soy 10, Sukhumvit Soy 10, which I live very close to. And they have a running track. It's a mile long, this running track around, flat surface. They've got 2-direction arrows so you don't bump into people. And it's not quite as nice as Lumpini Park, but to get to Lumpini Park, I'd have to take transport, a motorbike, public transport. This other park, I can walk there 10 minutes from there, and I'll do the running track, and it's good. It's good. Peter Parker, Peter, now you're back. Do you still water the flowers? The daffodils should be coming up this time of year. Yeah, I mean that was a bit of a game, really. This is in the video, right? You know, when I video the office, I've done it already. There's a little patch of grass outside. You know, I used to, I've got to go and water the daisies. I used to just have I couldn't make it to the house and back in time, right? So I used to just have go to the toilet on the patch of grass just outside. And when I've already made the video about the office, I actually started from the house and walked down and say, that's a patch of grass where that's been watered regularly. So you'll see all that. Mike Harridan, Thailand does not have the same appeal when the wood decreases as you get older. Yeah, I hear what you're saying there, but I don't kind of agree with that, Mike. I'll tell you why. Yeah, for a guy who's a pure monger and he goes out there just to play Connect Floor and have aerobics, and that's the main reason for going out there, and then your guitar strings break, as it were, and you can't play any nice music. Yeah, I understand it. I get it. But for me personally, no, Thailand has a lot more to offer than it has in the UK. I mean, the simple fact of getting up walking down to my 7-Eleven at 10 o'clock in the morning with a vest on and flip-flops and just getting a bottle of milk, and I have the sun on my back, 120, 130 baht. I can go to Jumpton and sit on the beach all day, on the bus. I can go around shopping malls until midnight. I can eat out very cheaply. People smile at me. I think Thailand's got a lot to offer. I really do. I wouldn't be moving out there otherwise. Okay, Mark says, great lady friends are expensive no matter where you live. Okay. Hours of sucking dick. Low carb. Yeah, I agree with that. Low carb is the easiest way to lose weight, can still have steak. Yeah, and I do know a guy who lost a lot of weight in, well, I say a lot. He lost 10 kilos and he wasn't on a diet. And what he did, he wasn't eating any rice, pasta, or anything like that. He'd go into a Thai restaurant. He'd have chicken fried rice. I just said he wasn't eating any rice. He'd have fried chicken with cashew nuts, for instance, and then maybe a kind of Thai soup, and that filled him up. He enjoyed it, and like you say, he'd have a steak and some vegetables. But yeah, I that's another thing. I'm not going to do a keto diet as such, but I'm going to try and cut the carbs out. So one of the things I eat quite often, 7-Eleven now, they do a decent sandwich bread. They never used to in the old days. It was always sweet. Now they have a loaf of bread in 7-Eleven. It's called sandwich bread, and it's very similar to what we get here. And you can buy sliced cheese in 7-Eleven. You can buy all sorts of things you couldn't get before. So one of the things I do like is toast. When I wake up in the morning, I don't often eat, but when I do, I really enjoy a mug of coffee and 2 or 3 slices of, nice toast. And that's nice. I enjoy it, but I'm going to have to kind of not do that anymore because, like you quite rightly said, if you miss out the carbs, then, it's a good way to lose weight. Richie Apes, I forced myself out of bed at 6 a.m., 30-minute fasted light cardio, have a coffee, then have my first meal at noon. The weight shifted so quickly and it took about 2 weeks to get into the routine. Yeah, you're right, Richard. I mean, you've got to force yourself. And one thing, not now, but I used to read a lot of books on successful people, Richard Branson, Duncan Bannatyne, Donald Trump. You say what you want to say, but he has been successful. I used to read a lot of these books, and 2 things came out of these books. It don't matter who the person was. 2 things came out of these books. One, and they're all become millionaires, right? They're all very, very rich, very, very rich. 2 habits that these millionaires had in common. When I read half a dozen of these books, there's 2 things that every one of them, who were unrelated to each other, obviously, but they all had this common link. And that was, the first one was, they all regretted they didn't spend more time with their children because, when they're building their companies, they were never at home. They were away 16-hour days, business trips. They see their kids now and again. And they all said, if I could do it all again, I would dedicate so much time to my family. And I regret that. And I can never have that back again. I'm the same. I'm not rich and famous, but I do. That's the first thing. The second thing is, all of them woke up early and went to the gym or went jogging or did some kind of exercise. They didn't kind of lay in and then go straight to work hungover or tired. They'd all get up at 6 in the morning, some of them 5 o'clock in the morning. They'd go to the gym, have a good workout, have a shower, and they'd be in the office at 8:30 before anybody else, 8 o'clock, and they were ready to go, you know. And you're absolutely right. You know, you force yourself to wake up at 6 o'clock. I think 6 is a bit too early for me. Maybe 8 o'clock, you know, as long as I can be ready to face the day at 9 o'clock, 9:30, that's good enough for me, because I was doing 12 o'clock. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be hard getting out of bed and going up to a running machine. But like you say, you get into a routine. David again. I have been to Bangkok, which I do not like at all, but been to Pattaya and loved it. Okay, it depends what you're looking for, David. I like Bangkok because it's a cosmopolitan city. I also like Pattaya. I couldn't live in Pattaya, it'd do my head in. Bangkok has a lot to offer. If you go there as a tourist, you kind of miss a lot of it. I'm not talking about palaces and malls. I'm talking about, like any city, it's got lots of interesting nooks and crannies to explore. It's not all about the adult entertainment scene. Tony Adby, have you made the most of the next few days taking Benji for his walk? I always have. You know, Damien had this thing with me. We had a talk last week, and Damien, he's got a dog that he loves very, very much because he's not married. And he said to me, how can you leave your dog? You know, I couldn't do it. And I'm like, well, you know, I can't put my life on hold for a dog. You know, I mean, yeah, he's a nice dog, and, you know, I bonded with him. I looked after him for 12 years, but he'll be well looked after by my daughters. But I can't say, well, I'm not going to go to Thailand until he kicks the bucket, or until he's gone, because I can't just hang around here for 2, 3, even more years for my dog, right? As long as he's well looked after, that's fine. Lots of input from you tonight, Mr. Professor. Do you think there's anything different between Isan girlfriend and Bangkok girlfriend? Is Isan more friendly orientated? Now, I think you've got a better chance with Bangkok girls because they're more. The thing is, in Isan, a lot of the girls who come to Bangkok, they come for a particular reason. Okay. It's kind of hard for me to explain it on YouTube. You know, there's a reputation. I did a story. I keep mentioning this. I did a story about a Thai, a bar girl who went down to Pattaya when she was about 17. She left there when she was about 40. Got married to an English guy, and it was called something like "Knock a Pattaya Girl" story. And she explained in that story. She said, you know, she was a simple girl, and one of her friends who she'd gone to school with came back during Songkran. She was wearing gold. She had a nice mobile phone, top bag. She had cash. She was buying all the drinks for the family and everything. And at the time, being naive, she thought, wow, she must have a real powerful job. Well, of course, it's her friend from school, and they got talking. Eventually, the girl said, look, you know, if you come to Pattaya, you can have the same. And she was kind of disgusted at the thought of going with strangers and hanging out with foreigners and all this. But she thought about it and thought, well, you know, I want to take care of my family. And so what I'm trying to say, I'm kind of waffling on a bit. What I'm trying to say is a lot of the girls who you'll meet who come from Isan, I'm not painting all girls from Isan bad, but absolutely not. But a lot of them, they come to the cities like Pattaya and Phuket because they want to make money, you know, and a lot of them aren't educated fully. And, you know, when they work in the fields, they get 300 baht a day. Work in a bar, they can earn thousands, you know. I just think the Bangkok girls are more switched on, you know, because they live in a city. Yeah, just a personal opinion. I could have answered that in a better way. It wasn't a great answer, really, but it's a kind of a difficult one to answer. Right. Exit to Thailand. Peter, have you spent much time at Dolphin Bay, south of Hua Hin? Not really. Exit to Thailand, not really. If I do like sitting on the beach. I like going down to Jump Tin and sitting in them deck chairs. But if I want to spend a day on the beach, which isn't often these days, in Hua Hin, what I'll do is I'll get a taxi or over to Chaam. It's about 20 minutes away, and it's a much nicer beach. You know, it looks like Pattaya with a curve, but it's like 50 years ago. You know, it's all palm trees and beachfront, simple restaurants and bars and stuff. And I've wanted to go and sit on a beach. This particular beach you're talking about, Dolphin Bay, I don't know the name of it, so I might have been there, might not have been there. I've definitely been to Monkey Island, Monkey Mountain rather. That was fun. But yeah, I mean, Hua Hin's not exactly famous for its beaches, is it? Yeah, that is true. Josh says, I'm sure, Peter, I'm sure there is a function where members can gift memberships to others. There is, because Capio came in one week and he bought 20 memberships. He gifted them all out, and people were like, wow, who's bought me a membership? And it was Capio. That has gone down well tonight. Nearly 400 in. Good to have you all in. And if you haven't heard the news, my house sale's gone through. So hopefully, if everything goes right, by next Friday, I should be in a hotel room at the airport doing this live stream. But if I am at the airport next week, guys, I'm going to start it at 9 o'clock, maybe 9 till 11. I normally start 10 till 12, something like that. But I'm going to have to wake up at like 6 a.m. in the morning the following day. So I don't want to, when you finish a live stream, you've got to tidy it up and do some bits and pieces, which takes sort of 45 minutes to an hour. I don't want to finish at gone midnight, get to bed at maybe 1:30 and wake up at 6. So if I am down at the, I'm just looking at some of their Viagra alert. I know what that relates to. If I am in a hotel room next Friday doing the stream, I'll put out the notification, but it'll be 9 o'clock, not 10 o'clock, burping like mad here. It must be this beer. Right. Yeah, a lot of people saying low carb for the diet. Yeah, Stephen, don't beat yourself up, mate. I'm exactly the same. Bread, one of my favorite meals. I'm a real bread freak, and in Thailand you can get bread, but it's not like the bread in England, so fresh, And I had a routine that I did for years, and what I used to love to do is on Sunday morning, I used to have a routine where I'd never have breakfast and I'd have a brunch by about 11:30. I'd take Benji on a real long walk on a Sunday. So I'd go to an old abandoned airfield or, an old quarry or something like that. And I'd have a real good walk, 3 or 4 miles, 5 miles, come back and, I've got my appetite up. And what I used to do was miss out on, I am getting to the bread thing. I used to miss out on breakfast, but later on when I got really hungry, I used to have a full fry up, but I'd do it in the oven, bacon, sausages, eggs, tomatoes, mushrooms, toast, lots of brown sauce on it, and I mean, it was something to look forward to on a Sunday. And then I went another way. What I used to do, because all the supermarkets in the UK now, they have their own bakeries, and they cook at night and it's fresh in the morning. And what I used to do, I used to go and get some real crusty rolls, the kind that's slightly burnt on top, or I'd get one of those crusty cob breads, where when you slice it with a bread knife, it makes that lovely crunching noise, And I eat margarine. I don't eat butter for obvious reasons, right? But I used to buy a small butter, like Lurpak or something, on a Sunday. And what I used to do, real treat, right? I'd have real sliced ham, Parmesan ham, 2 or 3 different cheeses, mustard, Branston, piccalilli, the whole works. And I'd slice this bread, and I'd have a piece of ham and some piccalilli. And the next one would be a bit of this cheese and some Branston. And then there'd be some tomato and wonderful. But yeah, it's a killer. Bread is wonderful. It's a great meal, isn't it? But you do get used to it. When I lost the weight last year, when I lost the 25 kilos, I had to cut out bread because I knew that was put a lot of weight on, and it was horrible the first month. But I actually got used to it, and I'm going to have to get used to it again, actually. Right, Peter Demeter, is it? Thank you very much. Best of luck with a new life chapter. We'll be following with great interest. Thank you for the super chat. Let me tell you about a couple of videos I'm going to do. Okay, these are the videos I plan in the next kind of week or so. They might not be for everybody. Okay, so I'm going to do one video where I've already recorded in here with all the gear. It will be empty. I'll do another recording and say, well, that's the end of an era, 3 years in here, and that'll be one video. I'm going to do another video on the business flight trip, Thai Airways, so I'll get to. I'll do one of the hotel as well. Sorry, and then what I'll do is I'll film going on to the aircraft. I'll film. I mean, there's other videos out there, but I might as well do it, right? Because I've got a YouTube channel. I'm going business class. So I'll film it. I'll show you what the seating arrangements like, what the food's like, how the flight is. So that's another video I want to do. Then the next video I'll do won't be for everybody, because that will be me sitting in my apartment, talking to the camera. And I'm just going to basically do a 30-minute video and explain my whole life, how it came to be to the point where I'm sitting alone in my apartment. It's not a sob video, but I want to tell you about how I met my wife, what I did for the last 30 years, how we came to be separated, the psychological impact it put on me or my kids or whatever, how I'm feeling now I'm in Bangkok. And I just think it'll be a good, not lesson, that's the wrong word to use. It'll be a good chapter of a book for somebody to read who's honest in a similar situation. So if you're one of those guys who's sitting and you're not totally happy with your family life, kids are grown up, you think, should I, shan't I? Well, how's it going to be? Will it be a good decision to get on an aircraft and go to Thailand or the Philippines or wherever, or should I stick it out here and just take it for what it is? Hopefully, when you watch me explaining how I felt, what I went through, hopefully it will help you make up your mind. I'm not doing it for sympathy or I want more subscribers because they feel sorry for me. It's nothing like that. It's just I'm nearly 63. I've been married for 33 years. I've got 2 grown-up children. I'm now starting my life again as a single man in Bangkok at 63. It's been emotional. It's been stressful. Ups, more downs than ups. But I just want to sit in front of the camera, tell you all about it. If you start watching it, you think, well, this is shit. You can just go and watch somebody else. And I quite understand it. But it will appeal to a certain number of people who are sitting on the fence in unhappy marriages. Okay? Right. I knew this was going to be a positive stream. Right. David again. All the best now. House sold, and you can go back to Bangkok and start your life. Well, the thing is, David, the positive side about it is I've done all the donkey work, haven't I? Because when I was there for 5 months, I didn't waste my time. I had 2 months living out of a suitcase in Pattaya, where I basically had a ball, as it were. And then I did what I had to do. I found a nice apartment. I got my long-term visa. I've got my Thai motorcycle and car license. So basically, when I get to Thailand, I put the key into my apartment in the door. I've got it all. I'm set up. All right. And that's half the battle, isn't it? If you go out there and you haven't done that, then it makes life harder as well. Michael DiCaprio, Peter, which city in Thailand are you celebrating Songkran, or are you undecided? I don't think I'll be right. Well, I should cover it really, I suppose. But I did a video on. I will answer that. I did a video on Songkran about 3 years ago. Where did I film it? It was on Soi 4. It was good actually. It was in the afternoon. One of the afternoons. 3 years ago, so I can't quite remember. But I went down to Soi 4. Just outside Nana, between Sukhumvit and Nana. It was absolutely packed with Thais and foreigners. Everybody was splashing water through it. I made a video. It hardly got any viewings. I think it got a couple of thousand viewings in 3 years. So I don't think I'm going to film any Songkran this year because everybody will be doing it, and I don't want the camera to get wet. I don't know. I mean, I might stay in actually and not get wet. Talk about miserable. No name. Like to know your time in Thailand prior to your marriage. Well, my wife was with me, but I did spend also a lot of time in Thailand by myself. I mean, my background is hotels. And for a number of years, my wife and I actually kind of lived our own life. So although we lived in the same apartment, we didn't actually do a lot together. So there's a lot of Koreans in Bangkok, as there is a lot of everything, every race, right? Or every country. You've got Koreatown, Soi 11. So my wife had her group of friends. She'd meet up with them. They'd go out to Koreatown. They'd go around the mall shopping, all the stuff that women do together, okay? And I had friends, and we'd go down to Pattaya for the weekend. We'd go down for the week. We'd go out at night. And she's not one of those women who, where have you been? What time is this? Is that lipstick on there? I mean, she wasn't one of them sort of women. So although we lived as a married couple, we kind of didn't do stuff together. So that's how I've got a lot of experience with what I talk about. Because although I was with her, I did have a lot of time on my own as well, if that makes sense. And of course, I did all them trips on my own as well, because for a while I did have a business where I was buying the jewellery supplies out of Sampeng, Chinatown. I had a business on eBay, but of course the bottom fell out of that as soon as they started selling it out of China. All right, Darcy, wholemeal bread in moderation. Yeah, but if you're gonna, you're right, of course. But if you're gonna eat bread, you might as well enjoy it, aren't you? I've always tried to stay away from white bread, but on a Sunday when I used to get the loaf, there's nothing like I'd like a seeded or a nutty bread, something like, not nuts, like just a lot of seeds on it, something like that, Reggie Vice, thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. Always in the stream, always good to have you in. Got a jet, but congratulations on closing the house and new adventure. I might be here crying next Friday and saying it's all fallen through, but hopefully not. Thanks for the $10, and I'll have a couple on you, yeah? Cheers. Blimey, nearly already. Right, we're going to get the Ladyboy competition now. Right, let me just reiterate what I said earlier. Right, Ladyboy competition. Been doing it for 3 years. I only show the face. Very, very difficult. So what I said last week, I said I'm going to show you some full-on shots. You can see hands, you can see feet. Not on all of them, but there's a lot more. But of course, it makes the picture smaller then, so it's a bit more difficult in another way, right? You know the drill. 8 pictures. One oh blimey, I can't remember if it's one lady or one ladyboy. No, it's one. Yeah, there's one lady. So there's 7 ladyboys and one 7 ladyboys and one lady, and I want to know which is the real lady. Okay, so here we go. I thought a lot of people would get that. There were some right answers, but there was a lot of wrong answers. So remember, 7 of those pictures were ladyboys, and they were definitely ladyboys. I haven't made any mistakes because where I got the pictures from, there are no women. Okay, so 7 ladyboys, 1 lady, and we wanted to know which one was the real lady, which number. Okay, so let's start off with Simon, who got it right last time, but you're wrong this time. No, it wasn't number 3, or isn't number 3. Mark, no. Lewis C, no. Only in Thailand, no. I was a sucking dick. You seem to get a lot of right answers. Yes, you're right. Richard Woolley, no. Charles Stewart, right, no. Brian Street, well done, Brian. You normally get it wrong. You got it right. Good. Mark P, no. Mark again, no. Johnny B, no. Jeff Say, no. Mike, no. Graham Hawkins, no. Mike Braithwaite, no. Tron Rogers, no. George, good that you got a right answer. You got it right. To be, not to be, no. Clive Allen, no. Frankie W, no. No Name, no. Simon Mays, no. Adam CZA, no. I Patel, no. Blues Trekker, yes. Well done to you. Old Fogey, no. Barang, no. David, no. Rays, is it Ray Z? You got it right. Well done. Jason, sorry, not this time. Chaz Brown, yes. Jamie296, no. Peter Parker, no. Mazza, good to have you in the stream, Mazza. No. Bendover, no. Phil T, no. Paul Hoskin, no. Pad Meister General, no. Rumble, no. Frank Coldross, is it? 711? No. Gordon Adley, no. Richard Apes, no. We could go on all night with this, couldn't we? Oh, that bit's repeating on me. Clive, no. Darren Howe, no. Dutch Farang, no. Chaz Brown, yes. Well done to you. Josh Phillips, no. Right, I'm just going to do as I normally do. Just go for the right answers now. So if you don't hear your name, you got it right. Fake Ed, yes, you got it. Who else? Who else? Any more right answers? I think that's it. Lots and lots of answers coming. Clive, Clive. It's really weird how you always get it wrong, but you always get it right at the end there. Okay, well done. Richie Apes, yes. Clive, yes. Only me, yes. Clive, I got you. Stop putting the answers in. Dutch Farang, yes. Anybody else? I think we're there now. Right. Okay. Let's put you out your misery. Remember, we're looking for the lady, the real lady. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, I mean, I'm pretty good at guessing these things. Trevor, I was a guest on Trevor's stream once, and he tried to catch me out, and he did the Ladyboy competition a different way. I didn't know he was going to do it, and he was interviewing me, and he said, well, Peter, you like to think you're a bit of an expert at getting these ladyboys. Let's see how you do. And he put 3 different pictures up, ladyboy, and I had to guess the 3, and I actually got all 3 of them right. You know, I'm not boasting about it, but the reason I'm telling you that story is because there's 1 or 2 of them in here that would really fool me. Now, I'll just put it on for 5 seconds more, 10 seconds more. Just have a look at number 1 and number 2. I honestly, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. And actually, look at number 3 as well. The rest are obvious, right? But have a look at the first 3. Very, very difficult. Just be careful when you get to Thailand. Okay. Okay. Well, we've got about 10 more minutes left to go now. So let's have another intermission, as they say, and see what you think of these ones, guys. Love that last one. Love that last one. Right. Okay. How do I pronounce it? I'll just say Tom on the loose again. Summer Cambodia, same. Yes, but same, but different, right? Mark, when I went there on the streets and trains, the ladyboys were obvious. When you are drunk in a club, be careful. Yeah, the thing is, there's a couple of points that have been raised here, and it's absolutely right. Don't forget the voice. You can normally get it from the voice, and they are all very, very tall, aren't they? So you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Right. Where are we? Okay. Phil T says, imagine trying any of this at home. The bill would have you in a minute. Yeah. But yeah, okay. I'll leave it at that. Joe Dirt says, if you believe she is a lady the whole time, does it matter? If you believe she's a lady the whole time, does it matter? I think it matters when you open the door and you're expecting to see something which isn't there, but it's replaced with something that shouldn't be there. Then at that point, I do think it makes a difference, especially if you're not into it. Right, number one had a tiny, amazing waist. Honestly, guys, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. She was sat at a swimming pool. I honestly, I wouldn't know. Right. Yeah, Ricky says number one looked real. So I can't find it now, but somebody put somebody said they can tell from the boobs or something. But honestly, I don't know if you've been there for a while, but all the, you know, years ago, you'd spot the odd bar girl with fake boobs, but they nearly all got them now. You know, they're all them done. I did ask a couple. I said, how much do they cost? And it goes from anywhere from 80,000 baht to 110,000 baht for the boobs. The nose job is about 20 to 30. I didn't go any further than that. Right. Professor, never seen a ladyboy in Isan, probably because there is all in Pattaya or Patong, because they know that's where the business is. On a serious note, there was a very famous ladyboy in Isan. The name of him, his stage name, he wasn't an actor, but he called himself Petals. That was his name. And I don't know if you've been watching this stream for a long time. There was always, I used to put a picture of a ladyboy who was the roughest, ugliest ladyboy you've ever seen in your life. But apparently, this guy Petals, and he looked like an ape man actually. You know, when you think of ladyboy, he just looked like he'd come out the jungle. You know, he was that kind of bad looking, but he was very famous in Isan. People took to him because he was a ladyboy, but he was the most, maybe ugly is the wrong word to use, but he just looked gruesome, put it that way. But because of this, you know, the Thais like a lot of the Thai people, they fight for the underdog. You know, they like the underdog. And this guy Petals, he actually died because what he used to do, he used to tuck his, and I was trying to say this in a polite way, the bit that ladies don't have, he used to tuck backwards so that it didn't protrude, if that makes sense. And because he always had it like that, he got some kind of a cancer and he died. And it was big news in Isan. You know, he was very, very famous up there. Some of you will remember him because I put his picture on a few times, and some of the comments were like, "Ape man," you know, you'd run a mile if he knocked on you. If he knocked on your hotel door, you'd be over the balcony. You'd be the next one off the balcony. Right, Mark. When I went out there on the streets, and all right, we've said that one already, haven't we? I'm going backwards now. Right, I'll tell you what we do. We've got about 5 minutes left to do. Let's do a few more. We'll do a few more comments later. I'll do for the second time tonight the Monger. It's not a Monger minute, it's a Monger 2 minutes tonight. 1 or 2 BBWs in tonight as well. Right, okay, here we go. Okay, right. Just before I forget, if there's any Irish in this stream, I did mention this at the beginning, but it's the 17th of March today, which can only mean it's St. Patrick's Day. So if you're Irish, all the best for you for today. You've got another 27 minutes left until it's over. Right, okay. Somebody asked, that was a strange question there. Somebody asked what was the average age of people in this stream. Right, I think the average age of people in the stream, let me just see if I can see the comment to put it up. I can't see it. If you're listening, if you wrote it, write it again. I'll catch it as the latest one. I'll put it up. Bernie, I haven't mentioned you tonight. Hi, Bernie. Excellent stream. Can't wait to see the smile on your face when you arrive back in your city at the airport. I think that, you know why I say the airport? I can't pronounce it. Servana, but Capio taught me how to pronounce it, right? I can't pronounce the name of the airport. And he taught me how to say it. I remembered for about a night, then I forgot. So I always say the airport. I never mention it. Servana, but if someone tells me I can say it, you know, they do it phonetically. But anyway, I think that will give you. I think that I will give you a Bangkok nickname, Mr. Mayor. Oh, don't do that, Bernie, for heaven's sake. I've been to that restaurant a few times, Bernie. You know what I said to you? I go there 2-3 times a week. I really do. I'm actually going to make a video about it because I think a lot of people would love to go there, especially English guys. It's an Indian / Arabic place. You know yourself, you can get a meal for £5-6. Brilliant place. Okay, thank you, Jason. Yeah, Jason says, guys, don't forget to like the stream. Yeah, I appreciate that. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'm burping like heck tonight. When that Monger Minute was on, you didn't see what was going on here, obviously. And I actually knocked over a glass of whiskey, and it smells like a brewery in here. Luckily, I got some tissue here, and I was able to mop most of it up. But it's like I'm getting high just on, on the fumes. Okay. There we go. That was the one I was talking about before. Right, Mama Beth says, what is the age group in the chat, please? Thank you. I think the age group is anywhere between, at the lower end, I'd say around 40. We've had guys in here who've told me they're 28, 27, you know, but not very often. I think most of the guys who come into this stream are between 50 and 65. There are younger, of course. There's guys in here who are 40, 45, 50. But I mean, if you look at the, I have got stats at the back of YouTube, and if I look at the graphs, the biggest one is kind of, 50 to 65, you know, and you can understand why, because I'm in my 60s, so I'm not going to get some young, you know, 17-year-old gamer follow my channel. You know, it's all guys with a similar interest as me, and there is a lot of guys who want to head out to Thailand who are coming out of marriages and stuff, and you know, they'll be interested in how I get on. Right. Clive says Peter likes his watermelons. Oh, absolutely, Clive, absolutely. Right, Gabor, thank you for that. Charles Sanders, 18912. Right, okay, nearly there. The first, Jason says, the first girl is hot. Don't tell the other half, Peter. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. I'm single. I mean, I'm married. Right, just call it Swampy. Right, Mike Braithwaite, 54. Right, so you're saying the average age is probably about 54. Yeah, you're probably not far off. Hi, Pastor Mo. You always seem to come in right at the last minute, just before I'm about to end. It's unless you have it on in the background and you work on your PC or something. But good to have you in anyway. I'd marry that flower girl. Flower girl. What does that relate to? I'd marry that flower girl. Oh, you're talking about in the Monger Minute? Yeah, definitely. Okay, someone teach me how to say it now. Savannah Pum. Okay, Savannah Pum. That's easy to say, but I'll forget. Savannah Pum. Okay. Hi, Brian says Swampy Boom. Yeah, Gabor P. Guys, push. Another one says push the like button. Yeah, guys, it does help with the algorithm. You know, with YouTube, they work off algorithms. You know, and if you're watching this stream, there's still 335 and close to 400 people got to go to bed. But if you're watching this now and you know, if you're enjoying it, if you're part of the community, just click the like for me, because it does help me out. You know, I don't ask for much. Just give it a little tickle, as it were. Right, Mama Bear. Yes, we'll be 60 in May. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Just somebody said to me the other day, age is just a number. But my mother used to say that to me. Then she got dementia. Okay, I'm back to school now. Suwanapum. That's easy to say. Suwanapum. I have problems with not reading or anything like that. I'm not dyslexic, or I haven't got any problems like that, you know, real problems, but some Thai words I find very difficult to pronounce. It's like the capital, it's like you'll see in the stories tomorrow, right? It's like the capital of Cambodia. I can't say it. It's like pon pen or something like that. I have this problem like pronouncing words, some words. And if you listen to the stories tomorrow, you'll hear me say, the guy's telling his story. He says, yeah, I came out of the hotel, jumped in my minibus, and we went straight to the capital. But it wasn't written like that when it was sent to me. It was written as, I came out of the hotel, jumped into the minibus, and we went straight to Phnom Penh, the capital of. That's not how you say it. It's wrong. People will be laughing at me. But I'm being totally honest with you. And so I struggle with some of these kind of words. So I have to adapt it so that when I read the story, it comes out easier for me to read. You know, it's got nothing to do with being stupid or anything like that. It's just a struggle with some words. You know, I always have done. Deke the Trucker says 50 years old here. Oh, you're a young man, Deke. Young man, got your whole life ahead of you. Right. Who else we got? Pupmaster 59. Oh, everyone's giving their age now. Okay, that's good. Let's see how old everyone is. Right. The youngster in tonight is Mike K87 at 36. Have we got anybody younger than Mike in 36? We've got Jeff Say 45. C Cousins 58. Clive, you're 48. Pupmaster 59. Christopher Tate, I'm 38. And think your streams and videos are awful. Oh, fantastic. Right. Thank you for Christopher. So you're probably one of the young. I have had younger than you in before, but it's interesting. That's interesting. One guy wrote to me. I mean, I don't know whether to laugh or I don't think he was taking the mickey, but he wrote to me and he said, and he was being deadly serious. He said, Peter, you're like the dad I've never had. And I'm like, really? Anyway, right. Max Vite, how you doing? Max Vite, 67 in 4 days. Another young man, slightly older than me. Only me is 49. David, 58. Right, I'm going to end this soon, so I'll just get a few more ages up. We'll see how old everybody is. Gordon Holdley, 75. Well done, Gordon. You've still got your health. Well done. Right, Phil Roberts is 40. Mike K87 turned 36 last week. Mark is 68. Oh, you're gone, Mark. Your Zimmer frame over there for you. We'll send it to you. Send me your address, Zimmer frame, straight to your front door. Only joking. Okay, Blake Los Angeles says he's 37. So, yeah, you're quite young, Blake, for this stream. Blue Tricker is 64, about the same age as me. Anybody else wants to tell their age before we go? I'm 69. Oh, no, I'm getting mixed up with my age. Yeah, okay. David's still talking about the first girl. CE77 is 34. Old Fogey is 60. Well, you're younger than me, actually, Old Fogey. Joe Dirt, 51. Maturity 13, okay. Mike Oxmel's over 18. Well, I hope we all are here. I think that's it. Anybody else want to give their age out? Passamo, enjoy the rest of the stream, but it's almost 5 p.m. here. Time to go to the pub for St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, okay. Flying visit there. Good to have you in there. Pompan, yeah. The real Dutch Frank is... You're not 29, surely. Really? 29? Christ, you'd be the youngest in the stream if you are. I don't know why. You know, when you talk to the people in the stream, when you talk to your viewers, you build a mental picture of what everybody looks like. Like, imagine Paul Hoskins has got a rain mac on, you know, and he's got he's got toffees in his pocket. I don't know why, Paul. I mean, sorry, but that's how I conjure up your image, you know, and then somebody else I imagine in a different way, you know. It's just but Dutch Frank, if you're joking, I mean, okay, but if you really are 29, I had a vision of you of about 50, 55. Adam CZA 45, Real Phil Denmark 58, Randy 67. I know you're around that age, Randy, because we've had this discussion. No Names 53, Edward Chase 75, still going strong. Well done to you. I hope I'm still going at 75. And a name I can't pronounce, but nice picture of a dog there with a hat. Love dogs. Right, Pat Thai. That's quite a good name, actually. Not Pad Thai, it's Pat Thai. 61, to be, not to be. I don't believe that for a second, and you never lie, right? Richard Woolley, 55. Anybody else? Mazza's 39. I don't know. I thought you would be a bit older than that, Mazza. Christopher Shelgrove's 37. Big Time 911. I don't believe that either. Gabor, I'm not 75, Gabor. I'm 62. Currently, soon to be 63, a young 63. Graham Hawkins is 60. Gaborum's 56. Really? Dutch Frank, you're 29? Really? Okay, well done. Good to have you in the stream, actually, then. Super Nice is 49. Joe Pet, 42. Sean Griffin's 56. Are you really 75? Really? I mean, well, that's a young man's picture there. Is that your son? Peter Parker, 52. Andrew Robinson, how old have you got there? 54. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, we'll finish with the ages now. Before we go, I normally put this one on when I go for a leak, when I go to the toilet. I don't need to go to the toilet, but I'm ending the stream in about 1 minute. I'll just put this on to put a smile on your face before you go to bed. She does this wink, you know. It's like what they call a loop, you know. It's only like a little clip, and I've looped it. But she does a thing with her eye where she winks. It's so sexy. Right, okay. A married man shouldn't be speaking in that way. Mark, thanks, Peter. All the best. Right, how long? 2 minutes, 2 hours, 6 minutes. Right, guys, that is it. I'm afraid I've got an early start in the morning. Right, what are we doing now? Sunday, 9 p.m. Be here. There'll be a live stream. It could possibly be the last live stream here in Thailand bound HQ here in the UK. It gets too serious, doesn't it? Yeah, if it all goes through, like I said, guys, the next live stream on a Friday will be from a hotel in the airport at Heathrow. The following one after that will be in Bangkok. The Sunday night one will be in Bangkok. If I do a stream, I might be knackered. I might be tired. I might give the Sunday one a miss next week, but I'll definitely be doing it this week. Oh, God, this beer. 9 p.m. Sunday. I'll see you there, I hope. Until then, guys, thank you. Thank you to Franco, if he was there. I don't know if he was. Didn't see him in tonight. Damien, he'll be in bed now. Everybody did a super chat. Don't forget, guys, I'm going to plug the membership again. Members only streams. I'd love to have you all in here. Until then, have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday night. Get some beers in the fridge for Sunday, and we'll have another session at this. Okay? Thanks a lot, and good night.